Welcome to In Focus. Tonight we're at the Arvada Center for opening night of Cabaret. It's also their opening night cast party. Let's go in and meet some of the cast. We'll begin where the show begins, with my first guest, Leo Ash Evans, as the MC.
Willkommen et bienvenue, welcome im Cabaret, oh Cabaret, to Cabaret. Meine Damen und Herren, Mesdames und Messieurs, Ladies and Gentlemen, guten Abend, bonsoir, good evening. Wie geht's? Comment ça va? Do you feel good? Ich bin euer Konferencier, Sushi votre compère. I am your host und sage willkommen, bienvenue, welcome im Cabaret, oh Cabaret, to Cabaret.
And now my conversation with the charming Leo Ash Evans. Well, Leo, thank you for sort of sneaking out of the party. I know it's already in full swing to come and talk to us. Mm-hmm. What does it feel like to come back to the Arvada Center after, God, it was 2006 when you were here?
That's correct. Yep, 2006 I played Jimmy Smith in Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Completely different kind of show.
Very different show, different time period. I was tapping, I was all, you know, a lot more traditional and conventional, and this is, you know, a much more thrilling, exhilarating kind of experience. But it's great to be back. I love Denver. The Arvada Center was a place I knew I wanted to return to because I had such a great. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Rod about that. No, I'm kidding. No, Rod's fantastic. I'm so thrilled that I'm here. I mean, this is exactly the kind of house I really wanted to do Cabaret in.
Not a bad seat anywhere.
Not a bad seat, and as the MC, I can really see every face. In the back corner seat, I could see them if they were crying, laughing, frowning.
And that tells them that they can see every emotion on your faces as well.
That's right. It feels really intimate, which I love.
So before we sort of jump into this show, what have you been doing since the last time you were here and
now? Oh boy. I've done West Side Story a lot. I've played Riff on the West End in London. That was in 2009. That was great. I toured with it in 2007.
A UK tour?
What's that?
A UK tour?
I did a little bit of a Europe tour, which was in London, Greece, and Germany. And then I also did one in the States that went through 5 cities here in the States. What else have I been doing? Some off-Broadway musicals in New York City. Didn't
you just do an original show?
I did, yeah. I starred in Fingers and Toes. It was a big tap role, and I played toes. So it was really fun. Really fun.
Fingers and Toes. It's like an update of Day in Hollywood, Night Ukraine.
Exactly.
Do you remember that show?
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Yeah, it was a little tour de force for all of us. It was just, and Fingers was the accompanist, so it was fun. Yeah.
To have that sort of background since you've been here last, to come back for this kind of show.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
I mean. This is the kind of show that doesn't seem to get too dated, but it's really ironic that you all open now.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the world right now that I think people bring in when they see this. You know, regardless of your political preference or your religious preference or your sexual preference, there's a lot to connect to, and it goes a lot deeper than just, you know, a nice song and dance evening at the theater. And I'm hoping that it felt that was achieved tonight at the opening night performance.
When you were all working in the rehearsal process, your rehearsals 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Yeah, we started March 1st.
Did you feel the weight of
Yes.
the world events?
Yep. Yes, absolutely. And the terrible, horrific earthquake and tsunami with Japan happened once we were here. So we hadn't even begun to think about that and incorporate that kind of magnitude. It's really chilling to think that people don't even believe the Holocaust existed or happened. So to get to work with that kind of material, and with Christie's great ending that, you know, we've really incorporated into this show.
It's a very different kind of
ending.
It
is, yeah. I mean, I feel like our production has its own original flavor in itself, which is really.
Because you've done this role before too.
I did it once before 2 years ago, yeah, in a very different circumstance. So this feels like its own new beast.
And So the audience is clear.
Yeah.
We could be coming to see a reconstruction of Cabaret the way it was originally done, but it's not.
No.
It's sort of a modern-inspired reconstruction,
Yeah.
very much like the most recent revival.
The revival,
was.
yeah.
But it's still very different.
It is, and I approach it really. I respect those predecessors of Joel Grey and Alan Cumming. I mean, I got to see Alan Cumming do the role in New York. I went to the archives in New York City to research Joel Grey doing it in the '80s revival.
To prepare for this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, not in any kind of what can I copy and steal, but it's inspiring to see
to know
the
what
journey.
came before.
Yeah, and Christy as a director was really encouraging about me finding my own Emcee.
And you did.
Ah, thank you.
You really did.
Thank you.
I have to say that I've seen so many incarnations of this show, and I still love it, and
Yeah.
I love every single one of them for what they offer. But you were really menacing in moments of the show.
He has. There's so many colors that he goes through. You know, Brett, who plays Cliff, we're in the same dressing room, and we were just having that conversation tonight about emotionally, it's a roller coaster ride. So you're constantly, when you're on, there's another whole show of Cabaret backstage. A whole other. Someone needs to do that. Someone does need to do that. But it's really, yeah, it's a big emotional journey, and it's still growing. I mean, I feel like that'll happen until we close.
Doesn't that really happen with almost any good live theater
The
production?
the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I think I've been fortunate to work on, Gypsy and West Side Story and Oklahoma. These are a lot of great traditional music theater shows. There's a lot of shows, without getting into it in detail, that don't have that kind of magnitude and don't have the shape and the arc that Cabaret has. Yeah.
You talked about the traditional musical theater, and the songs are so familiar to many audience members that they'll feel like, oh, we're coming to see a traditional musical theater production, and it's so much more. How would you describe it if for someone who thinks they want to come, but they don't remember it very well?
Yeah, it breaks the convention. So, in a situation where you have our love couple of our seniors, Fräulein Schneider and Herr Schultz, breaking apart, you have a vaudevillian song and dance, If You Could See Her Through My Eyes, with a gorilla that is really, I guess maybe I shouldn't have said that. Does that give it away?
No, I think people know that song.
Good.
They see it
Good.
in those clips, but they don't realize it's a commentary on racism.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it surprises. It's jolting. You don't get to settle. Whereas in a lot of other music theater shows, even that are fantastic and great, you know what's coming next. I think even when you know Cabaret really, really well, you still forget the magnitude of each musical number.
In the original production, it's funny you point out that number,
Yeah.
because Joel Grey and the producers had a real discord about that one word at the end.
They sure did. I know about that too. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's, in the out-of-town tryout, I believe that they played with different words, not saying Jewish, and it caused a big, big uproar.
They used epithets for
And that's right. And this happens in theater all the time. I mean, this is something that a lot of people don't realize, whether it's a creative team that disagrees, or an actor and a producer, or a director and a choreographer, or, so to think that the history of this show and where it's grown to, it's pretty exciting. But yes, I mean, that just goes to show you that when this opened in the original production, that it was a problem then.
And the discussion of those kinds of epithets haven't ceased. They're talking about it with Tom Sawyer in schools now.
Yeah.
How does that feel to do material that's really decades old?
Really meaning,
but really not.
That really not. That's right. Yeah.
How does that feel for you as an artist?
It feels it's humbling, because I know that while a lot of my other peers are doing also great work, they may not have the same kind of fulfillment from other shows, musicals, plays that this provides. So I am growing so much as an actor by playing this role. When I got to book this 2 years ago, I changed as a person, personally and professionally. It sounds a little dramatic to say that, but
you booked this
it really
2 years ago?
Well, I booked it the first time I played the Emcee. I booked this in, I guess, what was it, January, February, somewhere in there.
So you've actually been living with this consistently for 2 years.
You really don't let it go. When the show comes down, it's hard to shake this off. It's very hard to shake this off. And to go down into the ground like that, I mean, it's a really, it says a lot. I'm Jewish, so there's another level of personal attachment for me and my family. So to get to play a role that plays with discrimination against Jews, or what the Emcee maliciously or manipulatively goes about against his club. I mean, again, this is a great experience that everyone gets to pull something different.
And in some ways, you could almost read him as going along with whatever just to survive. And we see people doing that.
Well, you never really know who the real Emcee is, and I choose to keep it that way.
So you don't want to tell me what
Well, no, I don't.
or
actually.
maybe it changes from night to night.
Well, it does change. I mean, his job, for me, is to entertain his audience.
And you did.
Good. Good. I mean, and even if his audience are Nazi soldiers.
But I think you did more, you as a company did more than entertain tonight. I think this audience felt edified.
Oh, good.
Thank you so much.
No,
I know you want to get out there to that party.
No, this was a joy. Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the toast of Mayfair, Fräulein Sally Bowles.
Hello, darlings!
We are here to serve you.
And now Sally Bowles, Kendal Hartse. Tonight was your very first performance of Cabaret at the Arvada Center, and it's your first show at the Arvada Center.
It is my first show at the Arvada Center.
How did this happen?
I went to the audition in New York. I went to the dance call. That didn't work out, so I went to the singer call. And
you went to the dance call like you were going to be in the ensemble?
Yes.
And you're playing Sally Bowles?
Yep.
Okay.
So it worked out quite nicely.
It worked out quite nicely.
Yeah, so then I sang, and they called me back, and then they called me back again, and then I ended up getting the part.
And you've never performed at the Arvada Center?
I have never
before?
performed at the Arvada Center. No, I've never actually been to Denver. I've only ever been to the airport.
So the only thing you knew about Denver, Colorado was
It has a lovely airport.
a lovely airport. So what do you think of it so far? How long have you been here?
Been here since March 1st, and so far so good. I haven't had much time to explore, but I'm looking forward to doing that in the days to come, which is nice.
So when you found out that you got to play Sally Bowles, what did that feel like to you?
I was really thrilled. It's sort of a dream role, and it's been really exciting getting to sink my teeth into it and getting to perform such sort of an iconic role and in such an iconic show. It's really exciting.
What makes her a dream role for you?
Oh man, what doesn't? The music's phenomenal, and it's such a sort of a meaty role. There's so much to play, and there's...
Were you intimidated at all to come so far away? You live in New York, right?
I do live in New York,
To
yes.
come so far away to play this role, or is that sort of a comfort to come way out here to try it?
It was kind of exciting because I didn't know a single person, so it was sort of just going out there and realizing, hey, I can make big choices and do whatever I want, and there's no one here who knows me, which is kind of exciting.
Well, you mentioned that she's an iconic role. What is it about this role that you think makes her continue to be an icon even now?
Oh man, I think the show deals in a lot of sort of universal themes, and I think she as a woman also deals with a lot of things that I think any woman can absolutely relate to from any time, which is thrilling.
When you're performing in front of the audience tonight, you did previews, but this was
We
your
did.
first, opening
Official
night
opening,
audience. It's a very exciting time. And, this play, it's one of those things that everybody knows it, or they think they do. They know the
think they do.
songs. What did that feel like as you felt this audience sort of reacting to parts of the show they may have forgotten?
It was pretty electrifying. I mean, it's always exciting because every audience is new and it's always a different experience. And that's what I think is so exciting about live theater is it's always going to be different and fresh, which is the best thing about it. And the audience tonight was fantastic. You could just sort of feel all of their energy and support, and it was really wonderful.
Now, every night it'll be a different moment for you, but tonight on your opening night moment, was it at the big moment where you sing, you're in solo, in your spotlight, or was it some other moment that really touched you tonight?
What's interesting is it was actually right after I make my first entrance, which is very brief, and I come out in the opening number and I say, "Hello, darlings," and that's about it. And then I got backstage and it just washed over me that I was doing this show, and I had my own little moment, which was really exciting.
And the Arvada Center, I mean, the caliber of work that's done here this is a national tour.
It's
kind of
fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I was so amazed at just the level of talent and generosity of spirit, and just everyone here has been so wonderfully supportive. It's been fantastic.
Well, I know you have your opening night audience waiting for you to join them at the party. I really appreciate you sort of stealing a few minutes to come and
Absolutely.
talk
Thank
to
you
us.
so much.
Congratulations on your opening night.
Thank you.
And finally, Colorado native Brett Aune makes his return to Colorado and his first appearance at the Arvada Center in Cabaret as Clifford Bradshaw. Brett, this must have been a really amazing experience for you since you're from Colorado. And I'm certain that you've seen and had friends in productions at the Arvada Center. And unbelievably, this is the first time you're working at the Arvada Center.
Yes.
Why?
Boy, great question. Well, you know,
Because you've been working.
I've worked all over Denver. I've worked in many, many different houses here, but the Arvada Center, just the opportunity never came up or the right show, and
So what made this one the right show? How did you go after this one?
this was actually great good fortune on my part. The director, Christy Montour-Larson, I had worked with her a number of years ago, and we have talked ever since then about the opportunity to work on something else, to do another show. And frankly, I got a phone call, and she said, actually I got an email, and she said,
It's the modern age, you got an
right,
email.
exactly. It was very simple. 2 questions. Are you available on these dates? And if forced, can you sing? And I responded and said, I am available on these dates, and if forced, I can likely sing.
I think it was much better than if forced.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Was that intimidating to be in a musical?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That, I think, is another thing that has certainly precluded me from working at certain theater, simply because I don't, that's not really my milieu, it's not my background, it's not my training. So to do so.
How did you prepare then?
I worked as hard as I could. I went to a number of my friends who do sing regularly and professionally and just said, this is what I have to do, tell me how to do it. And luckily,
And that was before the rehearsal process
that
began?
was exactly. I had worked with the musical director, David Dyer. We'd emailed back and forth, and he knew exactly where I was coming from. And I just told him, you know, while I'm still in Los Angeles, prior to coming out here for rehearsal, whatever I can do to get me up to speed, let me know and I'll do it. And I worked with a couple of friends in LA, and then had a 19-hour drive. And just sang my fool head off the entire way.
Wow.
It was great.
So once you arrived here and you were finally working on the stage, or before that in the rehearsal space of the Arvada Center, what did that feel like to finally work here?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. The place is great. The energy in here is fantastic, and the people that are assembled around. All I can really speak for is this show, but I know a number of the folks have worked here many times. The level of personnel and the professionalism is just off the charts.
This piece is a musical theater piece, but it's still a real exercise in acting.
Right.
And that obviously was one of the attractions for you. How did this character come to life for you? What was it about the script or your research that really helped you bring him to life so beautifully as you did tonight?
Thank you. You know, I just approached it. I think I was very fortunate in that I had, truth be told, never seen Cabaret, never read Cabaret, never heard Cabaret.
Oh!
Never. Never. I knew some of the numbers, just, you know, in the theater world, in and out of those circles. I'd heard bits and pieces, but I came to it pretty blind, and I made the decision early on that I didn't want to, you know, there's a lot of footage out there, and certainly a safety net. I'm not above pulling pieces from previous performances if need be, but I wanted to see what I thought of things myself, and then see how it moved through, or moved and changed through the process.
So what do you think of Clifford then? How would you describe him?
Wow, confused. Confused. Unfortunately, confused is one of the biggest things that comes to mind. I think he also
More than just sexually, though.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's certainly that. And I think he also stands on principle, but then turns around and realizes that he might not really be sure what his principles are anymore. He's also trying to stand up and stand, morally and ethically as the world is changing around him, and he is changing himself, and he's presented with.
How do his principles fit in the real world?
Exactly. Exactly, and certainly in the time of the show, without giving anything away, where I think it's fair to say that the principles worldwide are sort of on the move. They're shifting ethically in terms of what's going on politically.
And some people would say that's very current as well.
Without question.
Did that play into your ability to find him?
Yes, I think one of the things that I really, really love about the show is that it is so supportively written. If that, I know it's been wonderful in the dressing room listening to people who've worked on the show before, people who've seen the show countless times, and hearing about different incarnations and different interpretations. And the script it can support all of that because it's got really strong underlying themes. And it's sad to say, but the themes that it addresses are alive and well.
Has this work changed you in any way?
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Predominantly as an actor. It's been...
You're a musical theater actor now.
Apparently I am. I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to add that to my resume. It's been incredible for me as an actor to watch people sing and dance, actually. It's that whole thing is a mystery to me.
And yet you're doing it.
Right. It still feels a bit of a mystery, frankly. And to stand back and watch the people who really, really get that and really know what they're doing. I like to stand backstage and just watch some of the numbers because it's mesmerizing. It's absolutely great. It's changed me as well. Well, as a person, it's been really nice to come back here, to come back where I still consider home, and to be able to work on something without being dramatic, just something as wonderful as this, and it's been exactly what I needed. I've been starving for some really good artistic exercise, let's say that, and I've gotten it in spades. It's been just wonderful.
Well, I think the audience tonight agreed with you.
Thankfully so. Yeah.
Congratulations on a wonderful opening.
Thank you very much.
And one more peek at the entire company.
In Cabaret, oh Cabaret, to
Cabaret plays the Arvada Center through April 17th. For ticket information, visit thearvadacenter.org. Next, a first look at the Vintage Theater Company's production of the Dixie Swim Club.
Well, the Dixie Swim Club is actually a reunion show. It's 5 college swimmers that were on a championship swim team in 1955. And every year since, they meet at this little cottage on the Carolina coast to enjoy their own company. And the play actually takes place over 4 of those scenes. When they are 44 years old in 1977, when they're 49 in 1982, when they're 54 in 1987, and then when they're 77 in 2011. And we get to see all their lives unfold through these little glimpses of their friendship and love for each other on these weekends.
Oh, she's here! Oh, girls, Sister Mary Esther has big news. $5 says the boiler broke at the convent. We could be in for some titillating conversation tonight.
Well, I bet 10 she's been fast-tracked to Mother Superior.
Yeah.
But I bet she's on her way to Rome for an audience with the Pope. Hi, girls. All bets are off.
Hey, so anyone gonna say anything?
Well, it looks like they've relaxed at least one rule at the convent.
Oh, hun, not even a Miracle Whip's gonna get you out of this one.
Julia, what have you done? We know what she's done. Well, we want to know who she's done it with. Well, now you know my big news. Adam left the comments.
Well, naturally, we'd expect one to follow the other.
If you want to join the Dixie Swim Club at the Vintage Theater, visit their webpage for ticket information, vintagetheaterproductions.com. This week we're attending the Vail Film Festival. We'll return with a special report, all with the support of the host hotel, the Sebastian Vail Resort. And we'll catch up with Colorado filmmakers making their feature film debut.
That's all for this edition. Remember to join us on Facebook and Twitter. With all that Colorado has to offer, we're here to help you keep it in focus. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Snugglebug.